guys, I thought I'd hop on here because I have been shockingly bad. I'm so sorry. I've been a mixture of tired, exhausted, excited, and just not had much time for anyone other than my family and myself, which is understandable being, quite late in the pregnancy. If you've been following me at Instagram, Ingy Mum Love, I think it is, with double M, you'll know that I've been giving you updated belly shots and updates of how long I've got. And I've got 2.5 weeks left because I'm currently 37 plus 3 today. So that's really good. Feeling totally exhausted, really ready for D-Day. I think I want about probably another, if I had an ideal choice, I'd say to be a week early would be amazing. I'm due on the 19th of April, but yeah, any time I think from the 13th, 14th would be good. Midwife's away 8th, 9th and 10th, so it would be a different midwife, which would really upset me because she's delivered all of mine. But saying that, what will be will be. I don't want any medical intervention if I can help it. They do want to induce now when you're of a certain age or you've had a certain amount of children. They like to encourage induction at 39 weeks to 40 weeks where we are in West Sussex. I've said I'll have a scan at 39 weeks if I get that far and make sure everything's still working, like the placenta and the blood flow to the cord and the oxygen. If there was anything untoward whatsoever, like position of the baby or anything compromising, I would in a heartbeat, obviously, without a doubt, have a C-section or without a doubt have an induction. I don't want to risk mine or the baby's health, obviously. So I'm quite happy to compromise with the doctors around here. They keep saying once you reach 40 weeks, induction's very favourable because of stillbirth rates. They also say around here, it probably is the same anywhere, if you've had more than 4 babies, your womb is just a muscle, so you can bleed quite catastrophically after 39 weeks. That's why, again, they encourage the scan, and then if anything's untoward, they can either assess it and maybe induce you or say that's fine, we'll let you go till 40 weeks and see what's happening. They just like to be more hands-on, especially now in the news in the UK. There is a massive thing on maternity ward in Shrewsbury, I think it was, where there was 201 babies that died and a couple of parents, a couple of mums as well, due to just lack of care from midwives not listening to doctors, doctors not listening to midwives, midwives being too confident apparently, and it's had a knock-on domino effect to other midwives and maternity wings, and we're feeling the full brunt of it at the moment. And Mandy, my midwife who came yesterday, was like, we've had to do extra training this last month. We've got to really liaise with doctors and obstetricians, something like that. They're the ones that work with the gynecologists and the doctors to do with birth. But usually midwives are quite confident, quite reassuring, and they offer such good advice as well as care. But now they have to really liaise extra with the doctors now, just because of this massive investigation that's been going on in the last 6 months to some baby deaths that have happened. Really sad, like absolutely sad that there's been home births and other births that have gone on in the last 10 years. Actually, I think the first one was in 2003. And yeah, it's just negative stuff you don't really want to hear when you're just about to give birth, especially with a home birth. However, it needed to be investigated, and sadly parents have lost their children just through, people not listening to the mums, how they feel, if they've had reduced movement, or they've been told at a scan that it's breech. And apparently in this Shrewsbury area, midwives were saying it's fine to still have a home birth, and this particular hospital was completely and utterly reluctant to do C-sections. They wanted just a really good natural birth rate, and they weren't considering the parents or the mother's health or the baby. And it went on for years, and it wasn't until 2 parents actually filed an official complaint that it's got taken further. So yeah, this has all gone on in the last few months at the end of my pregnancy, and I did think I was getting an awful lot of scans come through. I've had like 4 every 4 weeks. So as soon as I hit like the 30-week mark, I've been in for scans, and I thought, well, it's probably because I'm a bit older. But Mandy said it will be because you're on baby number 6 and you're a bit older, but it will be also because this case has been really, really catastrophic. It's shone a light on all maternity wards, especially in the UK. And there's going to be now a whole protocol list to follow that's even more vigilant than the one that we've got. And yeah, so when they were like, we're not just scanning you to see if the baby's head down, we're scanning to make sure the placenta and the cord's still sufficient. We're not just doing that, we're now just making sure that you're aware of all the risks of having home birth, all the risks of how many babies you're having. I've literally seen 3 obstetricians that have, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, sorry, but basically they're the ones that liaise with the midwives and the doctors. But I've had, since I've spoken to you last, at like 32 weeks, I've had vitamin and folate checks, a B12 and folate check because mine was slightly dipped, but it came back okay after taking an extra folic acid tablet. They advised me to take a folic acid tablet, drop an iron tablet, and carry on taking my Pregnacare. So that's what I've been doing, because my iron levels were only 102 or 101 and now they're 109, so they're completely boosted. So that will reduce my tiredness and my energy and my breathlessness. So that'll make it, you know, better for me. And then they said my red cell count was really nice and juicy now, so I can drop one of those iron tablets. And the folic acid will also encourage me not to have a catastrophic bleed during pregnancy. It just helps. So anything that helps is good, and anything that's natural. So I'm still trying to have a healthy diet if I can, although I've got a ridiculously sweet tooth. I can't help myself, but a good 2 or 3 times a week I'm treating myself to maybe an almond croissant, or I might have a piece of Rocky Road. I'd never normally do that. I'm really not a cakey fan, but I'm thinking if I fancy it, it's the end of the pregnancy now, I'm going to need the energy, get the milk supply going. So I'm just delving in, and I'll address the issue. As I said, once the baby's 4 or 5 months old, that's when I'll start really reining in my diet. But no, I'm getting all the calories I can right now. Not being piggish, I'm still just having 3 small meals a day. But if I fancy a handful of nuts or a chunk of chocolate, I will have it. Easter's now, around now, so all those lovely like chocolatey things are out. And like yesterday, I bought myself a little bag of mini eggs, and I had a few last night, and I'll have a few tonight. Just a few treats. But yeah, so Mandy checked me yesterday. I'm measuring all right. I think I'm measuring like 36 tummy bump, and I'm 37 and a bit, so that's great. I'm not really high on the chart of the, you know, the height chart thing that they do, the graph. I'm not. Oh, the baby's not measuring too heavy and it's not measuring too low. It's just a normal, healthy birth weight, which is great. I think it was 2 weeks ago I was in, and it was measuring £5. So hopefully around the £7 mark, maybe, like my last baby was. So that's all good. And my urine test was great. So symptom-wise, I am feeling tired. I'm getting in bed now at about 7 o'clock and just chilling out for an hour, hour and a half, and then getting my head down, because literally I can only sleep an hour to an hour and a half, and then I've got to change my position with pillows, have a wee. I'm up a good 3 or 4 times a night having a wee. The pressure is intense on my bladder and my down below region. Again, Mandy says it's because you've had, this will be your 6th baby. It's getting exactly where it wants inside. It's getting all geared up. All the pains you're feeling now will be 100% amplified because you're so near the time. But she said, I can't see you being ridiculously early like now, like in the next few days, but possibly a week early maybe. So she brought all my home birth stuff round. We've got like buckets and needle buckets and things like that. I've got my towels all washed, ready to go. The bathroom, I've been mopping the floor every other day and just keeping the toilet clean. And I clean the bathroom anyway once a week, but I've been doing it every other day just to make sure it's ready. I've got my Moses basket up. I will do a little pic and put that on Instagram, Ingy Mum Love, mum with a double M, and I'll show you what I've got. So I've basically got my Moses basket with a lovely little moon shape above it, just to make it look a bit pretty. And the changing station exactly how I've always had it for my children, just a set of drawers with a change mat and a basket of nappies. I'm doing disposables for the first 2 weeks. Well, I say 2 weeks, it's however long the nappies last. I got a freebie pack and a friend bought me a little pack from Aldi as a gift, which I thought was really cute of her. So I've got, I think it's 40 nappies. So once they've run out, I've got all my washables, and I've ordered some more washables. I've got about 8 to 10 newborn to potty size that you can reduce, and I've bought washable liners this time. I did have a mixture of washable and biodegradable when I was doing my 4th baby, but the biodegradable ones, you get 50 for like £3 or £4, and they're extra on the environment, I think, because you can flush them, but they're fibrous tissue. They're all right when the babies get a bit older to hold the stools, a bit TMI. But to be honest, the fleece liners are great, and I've bought some fleecy liners and some thick wadged liners. I will do a vlog just before I have the baby to show you what I've got. But basically, I've got all the washables, which I'm hoping to do from 2 weeks upwards. Might work out a little bit longer. It just depends how many nappies the baby's going to go through, because a newborn can go through anything from like 3 to 8 nappies a day, depending on what stools they have. Breastfed, as we know, is really runny and mustardy, and I know that I was changing the baby every 2 hours when I had my first baby and second. It just depends. So, you know, I'll use them and then we're all set to go. I'm getting the pram out this weekend and putting it up, and I'll put that up in the kitchen so that when the baby is born, after it's had all its checks, it can have a feed and go in the pram. So I'll have it in the pram downstairs. Like, it's a nice pram, it's not all shut in, but it's just an ideal, you know, when I'm not cuddling the baby or feeding the baby, I can pop it in the pram. It'll be the Moses basket upstairs. And I've also washed up my very old car seat, but it still meets safety criteria. It's still got a 5-point harness. It's still a safe seat with lots of padding. I've always looked after it, always cleaned it, washed it, and it looks great. It fits in the car great. I've just washed that all up. That's all ready to go. And Mandy did tell me to get a hospital bag ready just in case things aren't progressing, because then she said if things aren't progressing or anything's untoward, she will call an ambulance, which I know about anyway. That's just normal protocol. So I'm talking like this because I'm trying to get as much information out as possible without forgetting anything, because I don't know when it is going to be that I'm going to update you. I really would like to update you next week before they break up for Easter, so I can like give you a little show of all the drawers, all the bits I've got and everything like that, and tell you how I'm feeling. And then the next one hopefully will be me cuddling the baby. That's what I'm hoping. So I'm trying to get everything I can think of out. So yeah, the pram will be set up, the car seat's ready, the towels are washed, the floors are clean, most of my cleaning's done. I haven't had that huge boost of surging energy like you get a week before the baby's due. I'm still pretty knackered. To push the hoover around, it takes a lot. To peg the washing out takes a lot. But that's because I'm not sleeping a lot. But the pressure is intense on my back as well. So if I'm sleeping for an hour and a half to 2 hours and then I get up in the night, it really is like I've got to take my time to get out of bed. And Jan's still doing reflexology on me once to twice a week. And she did say it felt really grainy in my lower back. And obviously in my ovaries, I jump through the roof when she touches those because it's all very sore and tender at the moment. But she will work on those really manically next week, getting me all ready. I'm on my raspberry leaf tea and I've been on that for 3 weeks. I have like 1 to 3 cups a day depending on how I feel. Haven't had one yet, but sometimes I have one with my lunch, late afternoon and in the evening. And I just feel that gets your uterus nice and toned. I've always had that with all my children, the raspberry leaf, and always had reflexology. So they're the 2 things I really believe in, as you know. And yeah, everything's set to go, to be honest. So I think as from next week, I'll be really ready. Like I say, normally you get a massive burst of energy a week before the baby's due, and that's when you're like properly nesting. You start baking and all of that. I did a bit of baking yesterday, but that was because Mandy was round to take my measurements and things. But like I say, the vitamin and folate check came back really good. My iron levels are really good now. And they've put me in for a scan as a compromise at 39 weeks because they did want me to sign a bit of paperwork to say that I would be induced at 40 weeks. And I just said, look, I don't want to rain on the parade and be all negative before anything happens. I just want to see how I go. And if I get to 39 weeks and have the scan and I feel reduction in movement or I don't feel happy, I will let you know and book, obviously, an induction. If anything's untoward at the 39-week scan, of course, I will listen to advice. But at the moment, I've got a week and a half before that. I just want to stay active, stay positive, stay calm and focused, and really just think of a lovely home birth that's going to happen. Because the minute I start thinking, oh, it's the day, it's going to happen when Mandy's away, or oh, it's going to happen in the middle of the night and I won't be able to get the kids all out of bed, and if I start thinking like that, my head will go crazy and I won't be in a good place. And already I'm very anxious, as I said at the beginning of the video, because I always get like this with my pregnancies and babies. And the last 2 weeks, I always feel a little bit upset or a little bit wobbly because I know what's to come. When you're having your first baby, ignorance is bliss. You think it's going to be the worst period pains in the world and it's going to be like pooing a watermelon and it'll be over. And more or less it is. But we all know if we've had a baby or a vaginal birth as well, you know when it starts, it starts. So when I get Braxton Hicks, they're bad, but I know worse is to come. And like now, I'm uncomfortable with pressure and I keep thinking, is this going to be the start of it? And then Mandy's like, no, it's just because it's your 6th baby. I'm like, oh, for Christ's sake, this is going to really hurt. But I've waited nearly 3 years to get in this position. I am so thankful, blessed, happy beyond belief. Can't wait to meet him or her. Have no idea what I'm having, which makes it even more exciting. And yeah, I'm in a good place like that, but just feeling a bit anxious and a bit wobbly, and that's why I've not been on here, because when I do feel in a good place, I like to be with my children. It's just all reassuring at the moment to be around my kids and my husband. I just panic, and if Aaron's going to be working like quite far away, I'm telling him, please don't go further than an hour away if you can help it. And he's like, no, I'm trying to keep my jobs local as I can. But yeah, he's normally an hour to an hour and a half away at the most. My little boy is now playing for an academy, a football academy, which is amazing news. But the only thing is, he has to go twice a week somewhere that's an hour and 45 minutes away. And I did say, you're going to have to, if I feel niggly that day, not go. Which is fine. The football academy are fine. They know that the baby's due the 19th and it can come any time from now. So they're all right. So that's good. But yeah, it's just that unsure and anxiety that's kicked in. But I felt better once I saw Mandy yesterday and she said, I'm measuring fine. Urine was fine. No sugar or protein present. Bloods came back and she said everything seems to be on board. She said, don't worry about an ambulance. If anything's untoward, we will get one. Things were a bit bad when it was COVID, but there will be an ambulance. You know, they know that when you're in labour, I will let the hospital know. There's another midwife that's ready to come. The hospital know. You will be at the hospital if there's anything untoward. So that was reassuring, because where the doctors really did give me all the negative, like, you do know it's very high chances you'll bleed. You do know that stillbirth is on the increase after the age of 40. You do know that you can bleed. You do know that... sorry about that, my battery's low. They just really went on about, as soon as you've had more than 6 babies, your womb is a muscle, blah, blah, blah. Filled me with quite a lot of dread. And I was like, oh, for God's sake. But I'm here. I'm alive, I'm happy. Baby's due 2.5 weeks' time. It could be a bit late, it could be a bit early. Mandy's happy to let me go to 40 weeks, but she wants to do 40 weeks plus 5 before I get induced. I'm happy to do 40 weeks. I don't know how I feel about 40 plus 5 because the stillbirth thing does worry me, but I don't want to panic about that. I'm thinking in my head, and Vashti thinks it's going to be a few days early. She said to me today, I had a reading today, it was all very positive. She said, you aren't going to die. The baby's going to be born safe and healthy. There was lots of things on there that was nothing to do with the baby, so I won't go on about that. But she said, you're going to have a healthy baby, and I can see it being a few days early, not majorly early, not late, just a few days early. And that would work out lovely if it was like the 13th, 14th or something like that. So, friendship to all, love to all. Let me know where you are in your journey. I'll do your bump shot. What I'll do, I will go on Instagram now and do a belly shot as well. But I do love you all. Thank you for all your love and support and friendship. And I promise I will get back to you with a little vlog. And hopefully maybe one more before the baby's born. But love and friendship to all. And yeah, I hope your journey of making a baby's going well and you're staying positive and focused. See you later, guys. Bye.